So this is not my first choice for a topic. At first, I wanted to look at more practical uses for this project, more like practical careers with lots of money and lots of education and stuff. Music was more of a hobby to me. So I started out with my internship at a biological research lab at UVA, and I thought it was a good application in mathematics. I love mathematics, so I figured it'd be good to use that love of mathematics in the science field. Don't really like biology that much at all, but I thought I should just go with it because it's more science. I should do science because I love math. Those things usually go together really well. Went very poorly. I did not enjoy what I was learning at all. Fortunately, not to bash mathematics, I mean, not to bash biology. I just didn't like it that much. That's for myself. So after a few hours, I chose to do with a different topic. And I did a brainstorm for a month or so, what I really wanted to do. I didn't really know. I still don't really know what I want to do with my life. But this has really helped me figure out like what hobbies I have and what I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about music. I've only been doing it for a few years as a hobby. I learned how to play guitar my sophomore year, so it's been a pretty new experience in my life. But it's really affected me greatly. Um, it's great for the brain. It's great. It's just pastime. It's a great hobby. This picture of me when I first started learning guitar. So when I did my internship, I asked my teacher at the time, who was my piano theory teacher, Mr. Scruggs. I asked him if I could intern with him on learning how to be a composer in music, learning what you need to do to compose the best types of music. And this is Mr. Scruggs right here, obviously. Um, he pointed me to this software right here, Noteflight. It's an online free website where you can just take notes. You click and drag little notes, whatever size you want, onto this staff sheet, and you uh, set it up however you want to sound like you want. You hit play, and it plays whatever you just put on the staff sheet. So basically, you just create music without having to play it, and the computer plays it for you. It's really easy to brainstorm ideas that way. So what I would do is I would uh, do this at home, the no flight pieces. I make my own little pieces at home, or whenever I had some spare time. And after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would be with Mr. Scruggs in his class after school and show him the pieces that I had made. And he would critique them, tell me what sounded good, what didn't sound good, what I needed to add, what I needed to take out. And we would go to his house. This is his house. He has $20,000+ worth of software and hardware in his house. He also has a recording studio in the back here that you can't see. Um, and we would take those pieces of music and really turn them into a true song, or score, or whatever you want to call it. And it's really cool. Like we have over here an electric drum set that he would use. In the back, we have a recording studio. He would record whatever he's playing. He has the mixers over here. His piano to play whatever notes he wants, and he can change that tune on the piano to whatever instrument he wants. But it's really cool to see all the technology that he used to produce his own stuff or to produce other people's music. Um, and so yeah, after trying my own little pieces, Mr. Scruggs showed me some of the pieces that he's created. And not only is he a choral director, so he produces choral pieces, but he also makes his own like modern style music, more like ambient music is what he calls it. He puts all the instruments that he has available to him, like the saxophone and his drums, his piano. He can make he has guitars in the back too. He puts all this together, records. It's a great picture though. He would record each instrument individually by himself and take that, save it onto his computer as a little soul track, and take another instrument, record that as another track. And by the end, after he has all these instruments recorded, he would put them together into a like playing at different times, different tracks, and they would be come together into one full song. It's really interesting how he would just take little pieces, little tunes that didn't sound that interesting by themselves, and together they would turn into a really fun song. So that was really interesting. And with my internship, I started to think about how to make music I want to make, what kind of sounds make people think different things, make people act the way they do, what kind of rise do you get out of people with different types of music. So for my research question, I wanted to look at the developing understanding we have of effect on. So So not only just looking at like the history of music, but also how our understanding of the effects of that music has changed throughout our history. So in the beginning, music was just more of a, a lot of like sort of servants would write them for their masters as like dances or tributes to them. There wasn't really much understanding at all back then. And as time went on with more like modern technology, we're able to understand that it has great effects on the brain depending on what type of music you're listening to. Like more pop music has a more like arousal or exciting, happy feeling to it for your brain. Whereas classical and jazz music lets you relax more, focus more. You don't have to really focus on the music before you just focus on what you're doing. Whereas pop music is hard to like focus on a homework assignment while listening to the music. So that was really interesting to see how we understand more because of modern advances in technology. Unfortunately, we still don't really know a whole lot about its true effect on us. We know like its effect on the brain, but we don't know why it affects our brain. We don't know why we need music in our society. But it's proven that every society that we know of has had some form of music involved in their culture. So, but we're still trying to figure out why it's very important in culture. There's even one study that found that cavemen, before written history times, had wooden flutes that they had been using to play music on. So it's been part of human culture for a very, very long time. That was pretty interesting. So my community service, I didn't have to look around very much at all. In my internship, Mr. Scruggs had asked me immediately if I could volunteer in his choral and talent show programs that he runs through the spring. He has a few choral concerts and talent shows, and he needs somebody to work the back room, this light and sound studio up on the top of the auditorium. And I said I'd absolutely do it. Qualifies in my community service hours. Let's go ahead and knock that out really easily. Don't have to worry about asking somebody else for. So it's great. For the first time I worked the 8th grade talent show, and I got to manage 3 8th graders in the studio. I didn't really do much like true working. I kind of managed them and told them what to do. You know how to make that mic go louder and how to make the sound spread across the auditorium, what light setting to use, how to get that light setting set up. It was really interesting. And after that 8th grade talent show, I got to work the next choir concert, which was a few weeks later. And I was able to run the whole studio by myself. It was actually pretty easy because I had been managing for the first time, so I knew what everything I had to do, everything that I had to do to make the show run smoothly, and it ran pretty smoothly. I think so. Not many mess ups at all. There's one mess up where I accidentally hit the wrong key, but I blame that on the software, not on me. So it wasn't my fault. For my legacy, it's not really connected with my community service because not really much of a legacy can come out of running lights and sounds. So for my legacy, this actually helped me find this idea of funding a scholarship for an elementary school for music lessons. Because there are a lot of kids out there who don't really get to learn music at a young age. And I think it's really important that you learn music at a young age because it's a whole other part of the brain that's not being used for some people. You're separating time into certain quantities, and you're turning that time into more than just time. It's music, sounds. It's really cool. So it's important to get started with that at a young age, and it really teaches you overall just how to improve yourself. Keep working on music at a young age. By the end of high school, if you're like a college musician, you learn how to succeed at something you're passionate about. So I think it's really important how to play music, whatever the instrument may be. So I contacted my old elementary school music teacher, Mr. Vaughn, who happens to be my neighbor and walks by my house every day. So it's pretty easy to contact him. I asked him if he had anybody in mind that might want to get free music lessons. And again, who doesn't want free music lessons, to be honest? But he had a girl in mind immediately. There was this girl in one of his classes who had gotten a violin for Christmas, and she was so excited about the violin, but she had not been receiving music lessons for it. That's the exact kind of person I was hoping to find, was somebody who's really wanted to learn music but didn't really have the availability for it yet, but already had an instrument they could practice with. So that works out really well. I haven't been raising money yet. I'm still working on getting that set up, but I need to raise $400 to pay for a semester of music lessons. and that should be fairly feasible. I have different ways I can do it. I can mow lawns, I can work JPJ games or events, I can run bake sales, I can wash cars. I'm pretty good at working with things. I think I can figure it out. But that's not all the way set yet. Where am I now after this project? I learned about myself a little bit, that I needed to stop taking things so seriously and just relax a little bit. When I first started this project, I really wanted to do the most serious, most planned out, most best thing for my future I could find was the biology thing. I thought, lab research, what's more respected than that? That's going to be most economical, most, going to school for a long time. I think it's going to be like this great idea for my future. But it really wasn't for me. It was really bland, in my opinion, and it just was not what I'm looking for at all. Uh, and I kind of just had to ease up after a while and just think, okay, let's have fun with this project instead of just trying to worry about my career. So I had fun with it. I did my I did a project about something I really enjoy, have fun doing, even though it's not really something I see myself doing as a career necessarily. But I think it was a very important project. Would I do it differently? Yes, I would definitely do it differently. I would spend more time looking at how to mix my passion with my career interests, because I don't really see myself having a career in music at all. Um, I'm neither good enough for it or have the desire to do it. It's just a little too rise and fall for me. Um, but I would probably spend more time at the beginning of the year looking at all the different options I had and contacting as many people as possible um, in whatever field I had. And my advice, as you can see by the plus sign, is to stay positive. Always stay positive with this kind of project. I spent too much time complaining to myself and to others about how dumb this project was. Even though it's really not a dumb project at all, it's really great. But after not enjoying my first internship, I really didn't want to do this project anymore. I had a negative outlook on it for 3 full months, pretty much, and that caused me to not only be slowed down in my project, but on the little work we had in between, like our journals we had to produce every week and such. I ended up not doing a lot of those, and that actually is hurting my grade, and it's a big deal. So it's really important to stay positive. So for my future, I have not selected a school yet. I've been accepted to University of Virginia, Washington Lee, Boston College, University of Richmond, and William and Mary. And I only have my financial aid packages from these two left schools, Washington Lee and University of Virginia. Still waiting on my financial aid from Boston College, Richmond, and William and Mary. Once I hear back from those three schools, I will be able to decide. But for most of the year, my number one pick has been Center College, Boston College. Um, it's I don't know, it's just everything that works for me. It's my favorite area of the country, and it's a great vibe, good size school. So I'm really hoping I can go there. Don't know what I would study yet. I'm thinking more in the field of mathematics. I don't really know yet. And it's my life, I don't know anything. All right, that's the end of my presentation. Any questions?
Did you end up composing a music?
I composed.
You did? What was the name? What kind of music was it?
So it was more like classical, like modern classical.
Yeah.
So it's just like no words, of course.
Right.
Different instruments. I had a couple pieces with just a piano, one with a piano and a cello on it, and a couple guitar pieces. And it was pretty cool. I
Why
didn't
did you
get.
bring it so we could hear it?
My mom said I should too, but
Your mom was right.
I thought it would be a little unprofessional.
Oh, it
I
was
should have.
nice.
Looking back on it, that'd be something I would do differently too.
That's a yes.
Anything else?
Did you find that your strength in mathematics like lended itself to like the composing of music and such?
Because when I took my first music class with Mr. Scruggs last year, it was a lot of it was theory and it's kind of like the mathematics of music. So I thought it was really cool that I could use my knowledge of mathematics to make it much easier to know what sounds good, how to compose, how to structure these songs and stuff. It's pretty easy structure, but some people just doesn't make sense. It's so abstract. But for me, most of mathematics is abstract, so I'm kind of used to like taking abstract ideas and sort of putting them together.
music, controls at the high school, we're looking at box up there too. Mr. Scruggs' music. How different was that
From what?
from his music, the things that he had in his shop,
Okay.
in comparison to what we have at the high school?
So, a lot of it was pretty similar, because you're like, the same like mixers. Like,
Yeah, it just looked like he didn't have a whole lot.
So
He had
this
a whole,
is
right
only,
here looks very,
Yeah.
yeah.
so it's poorly lit in
Yeah.
this booth. This is only half of the booth. This is the light section. Over here, you can't really see, but there's a
Yeah.
whole sound section. It's
Right.
much bigger,
Okay.
but there's no lights over there, so the picture over there. So this is just like a couple little mixers for lights and stuff. But over there, there's I think that's about this big box where you have 36 different settings, maybe a little less, but around 30 different settings. You change the sound settings, you can change it whatever you want. So it's a little smaller because he has so many different mixers. If I go back, he's got all these, and over here, and over here. So he's got a lot. But there's still plenty to do with the school one. It's not bad at all. They're both different, but also very similar.
And it's like that you don't know. Even more, okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. Oh, I've been accepted.
You had,
I'm just waiting to
wait,
talk
just
about
waiting
actually-
for the, oh, thanks. All right.
Any questions?